We're ready to go.
Okay. So here we are this beautiful Friday morning, and Melinda and I from Select Connections and the Dating Couch are very excited to have Julie, call me anything you want, she said earlier, Mann, the habit fixer, on today for many reasons, but firstly because she's brilliant crack and we love her. So, Jules, if you wouldn't mind telling our fabulous over 50 audience of male and females a little bit about yourself and how fabulous you are.
Oh my goodness, what an introduction. Well, firstly, I must be more excited than both of you to be on this. And yeah, I'm actually 65 now, and I can't quite believe that I am. But really, I've had a background as an actor. I've been acting for about 40 years, and I still do some acting. But really, I grew up throughout my life really thinking that I should be someone else, and I was much better to be someone else. So, as I wasn't quite enough. Anyway, when I was actually pregnant with my daughter Katie. I had her on my 40th birthday, which was really an amazing gift. Though I did think I was going to have a party. And when I was pregnant with her, I was doing a voiceover for IKEA, and I experienced, it must have been actually the hormones looking back. And I had this kind of rush come over my body. And in that moment, I was rendered speechless, which is not great if you're in a voiceover studio. And I thought, oh my God, I hope that's scary. I hope that doesn't happen again. And it played on my mind, became a self-fulfilling prophecy. In a nutshell, I was so desperate because I had panic attacks that I went to see a hypnotherapist as a last resort. And working with her shifted that behavior. And afterwards, I thought, wow, I was so gobsmacked that had happened. I thought, what if I could do this? It'd be great to have another income around my acting work. What if I could do this and help other people? So that's what I did. And then I discovered life coaching and EFT, which, if you don't know, is a tapping technique. Looks a bit strange, but it's really, really effective.
It's amazing.
And I like using the combination of both of those because it's really playful, and that to me is really important in life, that it's playful. And so I was doing my acting work, looking after my daughter, and then seeing clients at home. And then my husband, very unexpectedly, when I was kind of mid-50s, asked for a divorce. And I was like, oh my God. He was the main breadwinner. I just thought, I love what I do, but on its own, it's not going to be enough because I don't have a pension. And I freaked out a bit and thought, well, I want something that's going to fit around everything else. What could that be? Thinking, actually, there's probably nothing. And then my friend introduced me to an online health and wellness business, which firstly, I was like, what are you even talking to me about that for? I'm not interested. But actually, what I realized was, I could work it around everything else from my phone, from anywhere that I was, but also it would really be great to serve my clients too. So I really now work with people, mind, body, and skin. That was rather a long story, wasn't it?
That's amazing.
The secret is, if it's interesting, it's not long. So it's interesting to hear how you got. You said that you had a moment in IKEA, or doing your IKEA recording, but you were pregnant with your daughter. Did you have her? You didn't have her during the recording, or?
Never during the recording, no, thank goodness, because they would not have been equipped for that.
There would have been a part missing somewhere there, somewhere.
Yeah. But
a couple of screws left over.
It was actually the early days of my pregnancy. But yeah, I hadn't even connected that it might be the hormones that had this effect on me. And I think that's the thing, that once you decide something because you've had a scary experience, then your mind keeps looking for that thing to happen again. And so sure enough, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you experience it again. So it's all about what you focus on, isn't it?
It is.
And just something that we have in common, in that I had my third child when I was 41, and Melinda had her first boy when you were 41 as well.
41, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
give up the 40 mums.
Absolutely. Give up the having fun before you have babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Considering I had my first one in my 20s, and my last one in my 40s, my whole approach to it in my 40s was, oh my God, so different. Why didn't I just wait to have them all in my 40s? You know, because your mindset and everything about you, your confidence is so different. But we're not here to talk about babies, so I should do it all. But
I found that I didn't actually find a man that I wanted to have a child with. So that was the other thing. And then suddenly it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be 40 soon. I need to have a child.
Donors, please. Well, if you look like this when you're 65, I would say they were lining up when you were 40.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice the line.
Were you looking for it though?
I think I was in another queue. No, not really. Not really. I think I never really had, for most of my life, probably for about 2/3 of my life, and remember I'm 65 now, I think I just didn't really think I was all that, I didn't realize that I was attractive. I didn't realize that actually people did desire me. I just didn't see it because I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah. Again, again, with age comes confidence, comes, a lot of things around you that, you grow up. And also you were, traveling the world, having a good time when you were younger.
I was, most of which I can't remember, to be fair.
Oh,
I'm sure it was fun at the time.
Yeah, it was. And actually, I wasn't even that young. I was in my 30s. But because I didn't rebel when I was the normal age, whatever that is, I had to do it at some point in my life. And I did it when I was on my round the world trip. And it was an extraordinarily fun, but also I was really lost. I was absolutely lost. And I was looking for love in all the wrong places and confusing sex with love.
Easily done.
Yeah.
Easily done. So just before I, hand over to Melinda, because she's obviously very interested in asking you some different questions that I would ask you. When you were looking for love, as you say, you met your husband, and then you said that he asked for divorce. Did you see it coming? What effect did it have on you? Obviously, it's some time ago. You're still single. I always say I'm a happy single, and most of our clients are obviously not, because they're coming to us to help them find a partner. But tell us a little bit about that part of your journey.
Okay, so I think that when I met my husband, and we were married for 15 years, and we haven't been together for 11, and I've been really single ever since. I was at that time thinking, I need a child. He's a good man. He's a good man. He'll be, but actually I projected a load of stuff onto him. In other words, I thought he was somebody that he wasn't. I kind of looked for the things that I wanted in him. He wasn't that man. He wasn't capable of giving me the kind of connection I wanted. Having said that, looking back, I think that every relationship we're in, whether it's a physical relationship or something else, we attract those people to us so that we can learn a lesson and grow from there. So I don't regret that, and I really I really don't understand when people say they regret and they've wasted years of their life. I don't really get that, because I don't see it like that. But yes, when he asked for a divorce, things weren't that great. I mean, it was clearly there were bits that weren't working, but I didn't think he'd make that choice. He just suddenly kind of said, this is what I want. And he wasn't seeing someone else. I had been unfaithful, which I very briefly, and I had asked him about it, and he denied it. I think it was a very short-lived thing. But he wasn't one for communicating, really. So I didn't see it. And I didn't think that would be the outcome. I thought that, we've just worked through it. I thought he was a man that, wouldn't be unfaithful. I mean, how does anyone know? But also that he would be willing to work it through. But actually, given our previous history together in the relationship, he wasn't one to work things through, really. He was a bit of a distancer. So, you know, he would just kind of walk off. That's not great. What can you do with that? You know, but I did attract him. I don't know if I've answered your question, Jacqui.
Yeah, you've answered the question about leaving. So then from then till now, you know, how have you evolved or I suppose reflected, you know, on now what you want?
Lots of reflection. I think that it really, I was really hurt by what happened, and I think I needed to heal, and so I didn't want to rush into something. And the other thing is that even though, you know, I would like to share my life with someone, I'm happy on. I've learned to become happy on my own. I think that's really important, that people often want to be in a relationship, but actually it's because they feel they're missing something, and that person will complete the puzzle. But actually, it's not true. You really have to feel good about who you are if you want to be in a great relationship, I believe. Yeah. So I spent a long time kind of. Yeah, just getting on with my life, and my friends would say to me, "So, Jules, are you with anyone?" I'm like, "Oh, no," like it was a kind of afterthought, you know. And then I would do a little bit of the dating app thing, and I met a few people from various things, and but of course they're all the online apps, so they're all, you know, all about the physical. I'd be very interested in the bio. You know, I got fished a few times, so you know, there were people went who said they were going to love a dog in the background. You know, really, I kind of dipped my toe in, but I wasn't really in. I wasn't really committed. And actually, I've got all this stuff about, you know, limiting beliefs about me being, was I able to, especially as I got older, was I able to be in a relationship? Was there someone for me? You know, looking at the list of things that I wanted, could anyone match up to that? You know, and a lot of comparison, and you know, looking at relationships that don't work around other people, and other relationships that do work, but thinking, you know, I don't know where I fit with this. And actually, you know what, my life's good. Actually, do I really need someone?
I think that's it. You know, a lot of our clients that we work with, and a lot that I work with in the coaching, don't feel complete without someone in their life, regardless of whether it's the right person or just a person. So you mentioned there about kind of overcoming your limiting beliefs and then learning to be happy on your own. What sort of things did you do to learn to be happy on your own?
Well, I noticed the beliefs that came up, and then I kind of questioned myself, is that true? Is that true? And then I looked at some people that I know that are in great relationships, and I thought, no, there are good men out there. Of course there are. There are millions of good men, whatever a good man is out there, you know. But actually, I think it goes back to what I said before about the focus. If you focus on, you know, men are this, men are that, women are this, women are that, then what you get is the women and the men that are like that, you know. So it doesn't open up, it doesn't show you the full picture. And sometimes we can get very blinkered because we don't want to be hurt again. So I think I just kept noticing, and then realizing that actually, even though, you know, yes, I'm happy in my own company. Yes, it's very easy if you're a single person to shut your door. I can see who I want when I want. I can shut the door, you know, I'm not challenged. But actually in a relationship, that's the thing, isn't it, about a relationship, is that you know, we get challenged, and that's a good thing to help us. And I'm not talking about just being in any relationship, but actually that's the wonderful thing about a relationship. There's an opportunity to grow. And I think that's what life's about. I think it's all about, you know, growing into the person that we really want to be, just becoming the best version of yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. How do you, so just going back as well, because you mentioned something that I fully believe in as well, I'm fully on board with this, is when someone comes out of a relationship, having that, oh my God, I've just wasted X amount of years, or oh my God, I regret getting with that person, or, you know, oh my God, that's however many years of my life I'll never get back. How do you, how do you help your clients, or how did you help yourself kind of with that situation? Because I'm a great believer too in the fact that nothing's wasted.
Yeah. I think really that, I realized that if I wrote that off, I was writing off part of myself. I was writing off all those years of the woman I was becoming. So actually, by writing off the relationship, I'm writing off the growth that I had and the person I became as a result of it. I ended up going to, my husband took me to court. He could afford a solicitor, I couldn't. I had a friend, a Mackenzie friend with me. And it was really, really tough. But actually, even though it was so painful in so many ways, actually, if I hadn't gone through that process, I wouldn't realize how capable I am. And I think it's always really good, because what else are you going to do, to look at what have I learned? Who have I become? To appreciate that growth. So I don't know that it's necessarily about the person, the relationship. It's about, who are you being in this? Who are you being in that relationship? And I read that if you become the person you want to attract, if you want someone who's exciting, you want someone who's kind, you want someone who's honest, then you be those things. And I just thought, yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. I'm gonna do that. And it's
I think it's quite a common thing that I have where it's, I exactly that thing. I want a person that's kind. I want a person that's exciting. I want a person, but sometimes I think some people can look for someone who has those qualities they don't see in themselves, but they want them to kind of balance them out. But it's so easy to just go, okay, this is what I want in a person. How am I not embodying it? And how can I bring more of that into my life?
Yeah. But that takes, Melinda, a level of awareness, doesn't it? You have to be conscious, become conscious for that. And a lot of the day we're all unconscious, and then become conscious of what's happening. So we always have a choice, and sometimes it doesn't look like we've got a choice because we don't have the choices we've got. Actually, we've got way more choices than we think. And whether it's a choice to think, men are this, women are that, it's all a choice.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's the whole kind of, it's your choice, so it's easy to change it. It's so much easier than people believe to change the way their brain is talking to them.
Sorry, I couldn't say anything there because the postman came.
How rude.
I know, we need to stop that. Again, what you were saying there, Jules, and it's something that we don't do as, and I say this to Melinda all the time, we don't, a lot of people, and it depends on the environment that they were, that I was growing up in Northern Ireland, country in the middle of nowhere. My parents were, my mother's 80, my father's long dead. We didn't practice self-reflection or sit down and hold hands and talk about things. No, it was, it was a good life, but there was no frills, and there was no, as I say to Melinda, I just say to Melinda, for my benefit, just tell me what I need to do, write 3 things down or what I need to do. It is obviously, I didn't grow up in that. A lot of boomers, and I just fit into the boomer generation, let me add, being 59 next month, so 64 is the knockoff time for the boomer generation. It depends, yes, a lot maybe where, but we don't tend to do that essential sit down and go through what we represent and what our values are, so that when we are looking for a partner, that's what we're looking for. We don't think, we just like go, oh, that's a nice looking fella over there, and start chatting, and the next thing, exactly my last mistake, and probably why I'm not, and Melinda knows this more than anyone, like he was just, to me, in my idea, 6'3", so handsome, silver fox. I felt honored that he was dating, living with me. But it was all wrong. Everything was wrong about it. But I can look at that now with the help of Melinda and see, oh my God, what I did so wrong. And all the, if there was a handbook, oh, I would have probably got it right. But there isn't. And the self-reflection and thinking, okay, I'd like a guy who has the same values as me, and don't go out dating, which is what I say now because I've been there, done it, thinking, oh gosh, I want this guy or this woman really to like me. No, don't do that. So just to interject there with my own experience, which I'm a living what case study.
I love what you said about values, because that's it, isn't it? When we start to value who we are, and I know that can take time and experience, it takes some effort. You don't just grow into the person you want to be because you just go, oh, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. It takes some effort. It takes some becoming conscious of what you're saying in your head, which is the biggest killer, isn't it? What you're saying out in the ether, who you're surrounding yourself with. It is about being mindful of those things. But it's very easy because we see all these films and they're all so bloody gorgeous, aren't they? And they're perfect. I know there's no such thing, but in the film they seem to be perfect. And so we grew up with that. And the fairy tale, of course, you and I, Jacqui, we would have absolutely grown up with the fairy tale.
Oh, the happy ending.
Yeah. What is that? It's like, but again, that's all about, isn't it? Marrying the prince, and then you're happy then. But it's not about, but what about the marriage to the prince? It's a sort of, so it's an active thing. It's active, isn't it? Being a relationship.
It is. But Melinda, I have to say, has got into the who's and whys and wheres of, and that's probably why there's probably a deeper reason why I'm not dating. Well, I do date. Why I don't want to engage into a relationship, but I'm happy enough with that at the minute. But we did hear that you have been dating and have taken a so cool approach to it. So please.
Well, it's definitely the first time I've ever done anything like this. So normally it would be, so my past is you find someone attractive, you start going out with them, or you have sex with them, whatever. That's the past,
or you go out and have sex with them.
But I didn't want to do it like that, because I also wanted to be different in the way that I interacted with a man, because I did have these limiting beliefs around men based on my the men that I'd been with in the past. But of course, like I said before, I'd attracted those men, so no wonder. So I just wanted it to be different. And this is somebody who was introduced to me by a friend of mine, and and we've met up 17 times. Like the first time was like an hour and a half, second time 2.5 hours. So the rest of the time like 8, 10, 12, 14 hours. And we've really built this incredible relationship. Turns out, I'm not sure there's going to be anything physical. But the thing that's happened in this is that I've been really present. He's been really present in a way that he's not normally with women. And it's been a very healing thing for both of us. And so it's, I feel like I really love this man. I love who he's being, the way he is with me. We have such fun, and, and we talk about everything. But this is such a new experience that it's been completely delicious. And 17 dates on, we're okay with the decision we made that we're friends. And actually, we love that. We love that. It's a really special thing, really, really special thing, because like I say, I feel like I'm being different. Do you know what? I really love who I'm being when I'm around him. That's a first.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I try and tell our clients all the time is, how do you feel when you're around that person? because I think that's one of the things that we ignore so much when we fill our heads with all this thing of, I think the physical part of it is always ever present, and kind of that can always be in the back of someone's mind. So they're always thinking about that, and you want them to like you, and you tell yourself all these things, but actually, how does that person make you feel? How do you act around them? Are you being yourself? Do you feel amazing around them? Because if you don't, then that's not really going to change.
No. And actually, so the guy that I'm seeing, he said the other day, he said, you make me so happy. And I said, no, I don't. You make you happy. You love being around me. But actually, he said, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't have that power. You can't make me happy. Only I can make me happy. And, there's such a, it's such a distinct difference when you get it.
And can I ask at this stage then, because I'm sure anyone that'll be watching this will be thinking, and of course I'll be thinking about the physical side. So how is that going to determine how you move forward, or how you pigeonhole this? Are you going to friend zone this guy and he's going to be your friend? Do you need to have physical in your life? Do you feel that this relationship will not be complete? It can't take you to that level where you need to be, or is that enough?
We did have a kiss, and it just I didn't feel what I wanted to feel in the kiss. Now, I know that sometimes a kiss, there might have to be a number of kisses before, but anyway. So I am, in my mind, but not telling him, I'm open to the possibility that if at some point I want to kiss him or go any further, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But actually, because we've decided that we're friends and we have this really extraordinary relationship, we're both okay with that. Does that mean that I don't want a physical relationship with someone? Yes, I do. But right now, I'm so, I don't feel, I'm not in any way desperate. I'm not attached to that. Maybe that'll come in, maybe, and even though, before I started seeing this guy, it was like, yeah, well, you know what, I'm really happy with my life, but I'd really like to share my life with someone, because I think sharing is such an extraordinary thing.
Yeah.
But that's where we are, and it feels really good, and I don't feel it needs to be anything else, or I don't feel there's any lack. Maybe someone will come along and I'll, but actually right now, being in the present moment, it's great.
That's good. But do you think, how do I say this, his expectations? So suddenly, yes, you're enjoying this relationship, but there's something in your mind that, there's a little exclamation mark.
Well, he said, normally he would have had 3 dates with somebody and then he'd be into the physical thing. So we've been together like 17 times, yeah. Not that I'm counting.
No.
And actually, he said it's fine. He says, you are my friend, my confidant, my companion, and he is so absolutely thrilled with the relationship we have, as am I, that he's okay with that. He says he's okay with that. I think he's okay with that. At some point, he might not be okay with that, and then we'll have another conversation about it. But because we've developed this relationship, we can talk about anything. He's got great eye contact. I feel safe. He feels safe. He's he's not like any other man that I've met, and there's a reason for that, because I am not the person that I was when I was doing the dating, shagging around thing.
But it's good that you can have that open relationship. You've developed that where you can have those open conversations. Yeah. And you're kind of on this journey together, aren't you?
Yeah. And it just feels really nourishing. And, it may become something else. I mean, ultimately, yes, I'd like to be in an intimate relationship, but I'm not in any rush, because Can
I ask you, 17 dates, is that 17 weeks or,
I see him, most weeks, yeah.
Okay, do you see him twice a week?
I think 1 week I've seen him twice a week, and then maybe there's been a gap of 2 weeks. So mostly it's once a week. I'll be seeing him this evening.
So yeah, I'm just trying to understand how I couldn't go 17 weeks without like trying out the goods.
Well, we did kiss. We kissed a couple of times, but
I know, but you were 14 dates in and you hadn't kissed him.
I know, because I wanted to do it differently. I just want to do it differently. And I guess really, if I'd found him really, really, really attractive, I'd have got in there, you know.
Yeah, stuck in earlier.
Yeah, but yeah. So
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, Melinda will probably look at it in a totally different way, whereas I look at it, you know, blunt, subtle as a brick.
Love that.
You know, she'll see the psychology of it and how you roll with it. But I'm like, still seeing a big exclamation mark here.
Yeah, but you know what? And there are friends of mine that go, well, clearly you don't fancy him, so you know, blah, blah, blah. But they want to pigeonhole it. They want to, you know, and it isn't that. It is what it is, and it's really brilliant. And then there are other friends that go, oh my God, that's really inspiring. You know, that's beautiful. You know, and it does feel like that. For me, it feels like that. It doesn't matter what other people think. They think what they think. You know, society thinks what it thinks. You know.
Are you a couple? Are you officially a couple? Or could he say to you next week, actually, I've met someone else and I'm away?
Yeah, no, we talked about that. You know, we're not a couple, and we talk. Well, we hold hands. We hug. You know, it's yeah. We don't do anything. We don't have a kiss, and we don't, you know, do anything more than that physically.
Whereas my daughter says, we're official. You know?
Well, yeah, no. If it's, you know, when it's official, I'll get back to you. If
oh yeah,
official, you know. But I think the thing is that whilst I'm in the space of really loving what it is, I'm much more likely to attract someone else anyway, because I'm so happy. And I think
that's where I needed to get to with this conversation, to sort of. Yeah.
Sorry it took so long, Jacqui.
Well, I'm a bit, you know, slow on the uptake. As I say to Melinda, write it on a post-it note and stick it on the wall, and then I'll get it. Don't send me spreadsheets.
Need to draw you a picture.
Oh.
But I think that's it. It's about being in the mindset of being open. So would you say that's now opened your mind? So you said you wanted to do it differently. Has this opened your mind to say, do you know what? If this relationship doesn't become official, I can attract something much better where I can have a similar relationship with someone because I know it's possible.
I mean, I don't want to use the much better because, you know, I love this man. I just don't feel physical. But absolutely, because I feel happy, I feel sexy, I feel, you know, I'm full of life around him. And, you know, it's not like I'm not like that in my norm, but there's something extra. And it's because I've suddenly realized not all men are the way I thought they were. And actually, I think that's the thing. It's been a huge kind of eye opener for both of us, and I think that's really special.
Yeah,
and absolutely, if I'm happy, you know, you like attracts like, doesn't it? Going to attract someone who, you know, and I'm not in any desperation or rush, or, you know, and at some point, like I say, I'd like a physical relationship. So, yeah.
So how do you feel then, you work with your clients? Say if you know, if one of our clients came to you and they were dating all the wrong people or not getting, you know, how would you change the habit of bad dating?
So, the people that I work with are women over 50 who want to experience amazing health and well-being, self-confidence, and I do that through EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, and through nutrition, skincare, and digital products. So firstly, I think it's about being curious about, what's going on for that person. I think everything, our life is full of habits. That's what happens. And if we've got, if we're doing a particular thing repeatedly, it becomes a habit. And sometimes the habit makes us feel good and gives us the outcome we want. Other times it makes us feel awful. And, it's about looking at change in terms of incremental little steps. So, I mean, if so, it depends what someone is, what outcome somebody wants, but it's really about kind of getting curious, me and the person that I'm working with, about what's important to that person. I'm not a relationship coach, but absolutely I can talk to people about their relationship with their self, which will impact the relationship that they have with other people. And some people, they don't like their skin, they want glowing skin, or they'd like to manage their weight, or they'd like more energy. So I help them in a number of different ways, really. And I think the thing about having products is that they work synergistically with what's going on in the outside. So it's a really kind of double whammy, if you like. I'm not sure if I answered your question at all.
Neither am I.
Switched off.
Melinda, have you anything before we finish up?
I think it's so talking about the products, because they are now saying that your gut is your second brain, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think, there's more and more scientific research coming out about how the way we make decisions, the way we think, the way we feel about ourselves can all be down to kind of your gut and your diet and what you're eating. So I think, the fact that you mix those amazing techniques as well as kind of looking at the person from the inside out is just phenomenal, because, it's like you said, you can carry on in this particular process with these particular habits, but it's kind of looking at the person as a whole, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, I'm sure most people have heard the expression, I can't remember if I can get it right, but about, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result. And
yeah.
And that's so true. So if life isn't working on any level and you don't feel good about yourself or your circumstances, it really starts with you. And it can be tiny little things. People think like it's some monumental change. Monumental change happens with little steps, and that's just a habit, repeated over time. And I think the thing is that most humans, I include myself in that, we in order to be consistent, that is the issue. We can commit to going to the gym to start with, it's all very exciting, and then when it starts raining and it's cold and it's but it's doing those little things daily that add up to the massive change. It's like a plane veering off course by 1 degree. Massive detour. Ridiculous.
So how would you encourage your clients to be able to embed those little incremental things?
Well, I guess it's looking at structure and how they can structure it in the way that they're going to do the thing, because they want the result that they say they want. But some people don't really want it, do they? They want to go through the motions, but they actually don't want, when they think it's going to be hard. And change is challenging because the brain's like a computer. So they don't want to do the work. And when I say work, they don't want to really become conscious of what's happening and then go, oops, oh, there I go again.
They want you to do it for them, really.
Yeah.
They come to you and they're desperate, and it's like, well, you have to do. Oh no, I thought you'd do it for me.
I mean, expecting you to find someone that's perfect for them, that's ridiculous. It's all about how they're being with that person when they're set up. It's just it's unreasonable. And when you know that you have power, the power to make changes, the power to choose differently and create what you want, it's enormously exciting, isn't it?
It is.
It is. And it's when you see that first tiny little change that you think, oh my gosh, I can do this, and you sort of become empowered with yourself. in a way that that when you're going, as we get it, when Melinda brings him in and coaches them, maybe we coach all our clients before they go dating, and then when they go dating, something maybe happens. Well, it's brilliant because a lot of them go, oh yeah, I don't really need that. But then as soon as they've been out on a date and they come back, then they toodle it for a little session with Melinda, and she's able to identify straight away what they've been doing for such a long time that is possibly hindering. And then she'll put things in place for them so that when they go in the next date, they're in a different mindset, or they're more aware of how they've prepared their mind and themselves for it, how they've acted on the date, where they've had the date, everything. It's just making those little changes that give you big rewards. But the first thing you need to do is realize that you need to do something.
Yeah.
And you can't keep blaming everyone around you that you are not being successful in finding someone who you want to spend the rest of your life with, not someone you want to spend the next couple of weeks with, the next couple of months with, and the next year with. If you do that work on yourself, then you are more successful at actually finding someone in the first place, but someone who you can spend the rest of the shorter runway you have in front of you, as opposed to the longer one you have behind you.
And that's why what you offer at Select Connections is so brilliant, because it is really unique, and it is all about doing the things that you've just talked about. And and that's what's so extraordinary about your business. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you, Jules. We'll have you on. It's been brilliant. Melinda, have you any more questions? I know we could go on all day, but
I did just want to say quickly, in kind of preparing, because I know you and Jacqui have met, and this is the first time we've met. So I went off and did some research. And I wanted to thank you because I was looking through your blogs and got reintroduced to Lucinda Drayton through your blogs.
Oh.
And I was lucky enough to see her live about 20 years ago, and had her music has been lost to me for one reason or another. And then when I saw the YouTube video that you posted up there, I was like, oh my God. So I've gone off and found a CD that I had. So thank you for that.
Brilliant.
Anybody want to fill me in here?
Lucinda Drayton is just, she has the most beautiful ethereal voice.
Yeah.
And some of her tracks are just, and it's going down to those how music creates emotions in people, and she just has this music that just resonates like deep down somewhere. She's beautiful voice. So yeah.
Oh, kudos to you, Jules, there. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, and it's been so much fun.
It has.
Thank you both so much.
And so just before we go, Jules, where can people find you?
Habitfixer.com. You'll find my YouTube channel on there and all the things that I do. Habitfixer.com.
Amazing. We'll put some links in the show notes.
Put some links. Lovely. Brilliant. Thank you, Jules. And definitely we will have you on again so that we can find out how day 25 went.